Welcome to the Art Studio Insights podcast, where we demystify the creative process and exchange ideas with career-minded artists. We are your hosts, Adriana Amay and
Jackie Sanders. We're two emerging artists sharing for the advice and business lessons we have learned along our journey. So if you're not already, please go ahead and subscribe. This will help other creatives like you find our podcast, and you will be notified when we launch a new episode every Tuesday.
So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about spam or scam, the lovely types of emails that as artists we may get in our inbox, and kind of get an idea and some indicators of, are they real? Should we ignore them? Are they fake? And pulling at our heartstrings, and basically what to do about it. So
all the above. Yes, yeah. And I feel like this is especially important for emerging artists, because as you set up your website, as all career-minded artists should have, or start growing your online presence, the mutually beneficial element is that your collectors or future audience get to know you, but also then that means you're attracting spam accounts. They see that your website's new and kind of know that you're a guinea pig ready to be taken advantage of. So this is a list of a few that we have encountered in our journey, and we want to share them to hopefully save you some heartache and wasted time, because I definitely fell for a couple of these, and it was very sad when I found out that they weren't real.
Yeah, I responded to feel like, oh, you want that? That would be amazing. Oh, wait.
Oh, okay.
You're not real.
Which I feel like So before we dive into our list of emails, we really need to figure out, okay, what is the difference between a spam email, a scam email, and obviously a real email? So the biggest thing that I feel like is obvious for some more than others are spam. So these are really emails that are bulk sent out. There's normally robots that are, or computer programs that are generating these emails. And really they just want to see who's going to click on the email, who's going to email back. And then maybe after that, it's sent to another person, versus scam, which is like a very similar, but normally it's one person or a group, and they're really looking to steal money from you, essentially, or corrupt your computer and steal your contacts, or they're trying to get something from you and then they'll fall off the face of the earth. So spam, it's more so dangerous in terms of just a waste of your time, versus a scam, it's can evolve into something larger, which is not good for anybody.
No, it's not.
So the first one that I always think of, and honestly, I've gotten it probably 2 or 3 times a week ever since I put a contact form on my page, and I've just learned to just archive them at this point, is different SEO company ads. So I am very aware this is something for a website. Having search engine optimization is very important to get you to the top of Google search and all of those things. But a lot of companies will find smaller websites that aren't ranking very well and send you an ad to your email, basically saying, hey, we think that you could rank higher. Here's our contact information. We can offer you great packages or great deals. Email us back. So not really doing any harm. They might not necessarily be asking for a specific you to click on anything, but if you see it, if you're not looking for that service, it's just kind of like a waste of time. So that's kind of an easy one for me, in terms of, you can tell it's a bulk email to probably a lot of other random websites. They'll like insert your name that looks very like copy pasted into it, but it's relatively easy to ignore and relatively harmless. So that's kind of an easy one.
Yeah, and some of those, just so you know, they'll get a little bit on the aggressive side if you don't respond. I've gotten those same exact emails, and they'll be like, oh, why haven't you responded, or get back to me, like anxiously waiting your answer. You need our services. And I'm like, no, like,
oh delete. Man, I've never gotten that.
Oh, yeah, I have. I've gotten ones that follow up. Actually do follow up, which makes me think maybe a person or a more sophisticated bot, kind of like a funnel type system. But it's like, yeah, if you don't respond, it's like, hey, you need this to optimize your site. And it's like, not from you.
Yeah. Like, or maybe you're not in a position where you're ready for that, or like financially prioritize it. Yeah. And normally, as with most of these, they kind of like trickle in a lot of compliments too. Like I just pulled up my recent SEO one. It's like, we see you have good design, everything looks great, but you're not ranking that high on major search engines.
I got the same thing.
I'm an SEO expert. I've helped over 250 businesses rank on the first page of Google. I'm like, again, that might be true, and that's great, but it's like unsolicited advertising in your inbox to where I'm almost a person like by principle, even if I needed this service, I didn't give you permission to email me, so get away.
No,
I don't
I'll do
want
my own research. Yeah. I'll
Right.
talk
Or
to
I'll
other
try to use
artists,
a
see who
local
they
company.
use.
Yeah, or I'll try to use like a local company or one that maybe, a fellow artist uses that knows a lot of the artist keywords and things like that. So yeah, SEO, it's relatively harmless, or different marketing ads in general, but definitely a spam bulk account. So.
Yeah. That one, we're going to count that one as put in your spam folder, flag it as spam with Google.
Yeah.
And you're done. That one's pretty straightforward. The next one that we're going to talk about, and honestly, over time, as you start getting this, you'll have your own nicknames for them. Just going to keep it simple. It's my wife was viewing your website on my laptop.
Yep.
Scam. Now this one is a scam. So this one is short, so I'm going to go ahead and read it to you because it's pretty hilarious. The names and the locations change because I've gotten this email several times. The email it comes from changes, the name of the person changes, and the city they're based out of changes. But literally the body of the email is copy paste, word for word, same typos, same everything. It's exactly the same.
The same typos.
Oh my God, it's so sad. It's not even funny. So, hello there. My name is Jackson Green from California. I actually observed my wife has been viewing your website on my laptop, and I guess she likes your piece of work. Okay. I'm also impressed and amazed to have seen your various works too. You are doing a great job. Thank you, I guess.
Well,
I
that's
would
true.
like, yeah, I know, right? I would like to purchase one of your paintings. Name inserted here. I'm not joking. They left
Oh
name
no.
inserted here.
I haven't received this one before.
They didn't even
insert here. They couldn't even fill out the template. Come on.
Yeah, they didn't even finish the template. It says name inserted here.
Oh no.
Sorry. I would like to purchase one of your paintings. Insert name here as a surprise to my wife. Also, let me know if you accept check, all capital letters, as mode of payment. Thanks and best regards, Jackson.
Jackson, come on.
Work. Like, I mean, they literally called it piece of work. What?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about like some of the things that will raise red flags for you. But yeah, I've gotten that one several times. The name changes, the city changes. Honestly, the one, that I'm using for the example, it's honestly the first time that it says name inserted here. It usually will have a legit name of one of the paintings on my website. This time they didn't bother. Like, yeah. Anyways, I had to share that one in case you all get it. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. I have to admit, I feel like if they actually did insert the name of a piece or like had specific details like that, I am a total sucker and I am the first to admit it. Like I am so gullible. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt to a fault. And so I feel like I would definitely fall for that because that sounds very similar to this one, which I did fall for.
Oh yeah.
I think this was like a year ago. Not even, it was like a year ago at this point. And I told you after the fact, and you're like, Jackie, that's a scam.
Well, and it's one that I fell for too. And I responded as well. And I had this back and forth email. But anyways, Jackie, please, this gem, so our listeners can get an idea of what this sounds like, the anniversary gift.
The anniversary gift. So yeah, I got this email probably about a month after I launched my website store. And so I was super excited when I first got it. And I'm like, look at this. I'm killing it. My website is doing so great. I just launched and all these random people are already finding me. Basically like, I'm going to be making it, rolling in all the money, selling all my artwork. But little did I know. So the infamous anniversary gift email. So mine is from very similar to Adriana's. I have gotten this before. The text of it is normally very similar. And it is from different people. So this one's from Marco. He says, greetings. ... I am Marco from Vermont. I have been on the lookout for some artwork lately in regards to my wedding anniversary, which is just around the corner. I came across some of your works, which I found impressive and intriguing. Which he knows I'm a sucker when people say the work's intriguing. I'm like, yes, you love it. I must admit, you're doing quite an impressive job. You are undoubtedly good at what you do. Which again, he speaks truth. Thank you. Obviously, flatter me up. Then he goes on and says, with that being said, I would like to purchase some of your work as a surprise gift for my wife in honor of our upcoming wedding anniversary. I'll really appreciate it if you can send pictures of your piece of work, singular, which if you look to my website, he'll see that I have more than just one piece, with their respective prices and sizes, which again, grammar issues there, which are ready for immediate or close to immediate sales. My budget for this is within the price range of $250 to $5,000. That is a very large range.
You should feel gypped. Mine says price range of $1,500 to $7,000.
Marco's
a cheap one. I got one called Michael. Same email, almost word for word what you've read, but yeah. All right, sorry, keep going.
I look forward to reading from you in order to know more about your inventory. Okay. As a matter of importance, I would also like to know if you accept check as a means of payment. Thanks. Period. Which I don't appreciate the passive aggressive thanks period at the end. Marco. But like we said, this is a common one that we get. And the flags right away are, again, they're not specifying any specific piece of artwork. Also, like relatively vague compliments, and the huge price range is another flag for me. Especially because they said they found me through my website. And this is what really got me. It was actually through a contact form that I have on my website. And you can toggle like which category it goes into. And it wasn't the first one. So that's normally a flag of, if it's the default first option, then like they clearly are a robot because they can't go into other options. So like, maybe this is a real person. But no. So another flag, the fact that they asked for a check, which.
And we'll go into the flags, but yeah that one's a solid one.
It's a solid one. It's like relatively long, obviously longer than yours, Adriana. But then this one also, I've gotten variations where there's also like an stressed urgency where they might give a time frame of basically, please respond as early as possible. We'll negotiate like rush shipping, like very, very urgent, which is never a good position to be in.
No.
That's what scammers capitalize on. Make you feel like you don't have time to think about it. You need to act right now or you're going to miss this opportunity.
Yeah, they're dangling the money in front of you like a carrot. Like, you want this? You have to do it now or else you lose this money. And it's like, do you though?
Yeah.
Do you though?
The old anniversary gift.
And it doesn't even say when the anniversary is either. Isn't that curious? But I have another one too. This one is lost your website but found your email or saved your email. I was like, seriously, another golden one.
Intriguing.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Hello. They didn't even bother using my name. Hope you are good and safe with your friends and families. Okay.
At least it's personalized to 2020, but it's fine.
Ish, yeah. I got this one 8 days ago, by the way. This one's fresh. This one's fresh. I pray every day and hope it gets better so the world can have peace again. Okay, it's cute. Nice sentiment. Starting at nice. I am interested in your artworks, capital A. I was able to view your work from the website you had it displayed in, and unfortunately for me, I kind of lost the website, but I stored your email address. I would like to ask you if you have some piece artwork for sale, and can you kindly redirect me to your website? I will be waiting to read from you soon.
Yep.
Thanks. And then put an address in another country. Which doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right.
But I was just like, hold up. So you like my artworks, you didn't specify any. And this is going to happen to some of the artists listening to this. Some of you have emails that end at Gmail, right?
Yeah.
But some of you have a website and an email attached to it. So for example, my email ends in my website's name. So I'm like,
Oh,
hold
yeah.
up, you could have just put literally the at symbol, right? Like the part that comes after. That is my website. What do you
Right.
mean you lost my website? Like it's
And that would take like
in the
one
email.
try.
That's it. But it was kind of like, and then on top of that, they said they were a chief financial officer, put an address, but no company that they're the chief financial officer of. So
I would hope that if they were chief financial officer, they would know the basics of how email works
and how to spell.
If it's at amayart.com, rather than emailing you to ask what your website is, maybe try amayart.com.
And if you're going to claim to have a title, wouldn't you put what company that title belongs to?
You would think. The other
and the type, oh my gosh. Anyways, we're gonna have to go into all the details of all the flags in this thing, but just want to give you a taste for some of these. All right, what's the next one we have to share?
The other one that this is another one I get very, very often. And the first one, the anniversary gift, I was super flattered by it. It makes you feel good. Like people are excited about your work and they have an urgency to it. The second one, it's the complete opposite feeling. Still very urgent, but it's more of a scare tactic. Which again, as a new artist, if you're emerging, let's say if you just set up your website, depending on how you set it up and what your background is, it could just like strike the fear of God in you. Because even with me, like I had people look at it, I know I set it up myself and I was still terrified. So this is about copyright infringement. So in this email, I'll just go ahead and read part of it. So it says, hello, my name is Stephanie. Your website or website that your organization hosts is validating the copyright protection images owned by myself. Take a look at this document with the links to my image utilized at JacquelineSanders.com and my earlier publication to get the evidence of my copyrights. Download it yourself and check it out. Semicolon with like a 4-line link. Spoiler, never click on links.
Danger.
And then it proceeds to do like 5 paragraphs of like, I really believe that you intentionally validated my rights under the blah, blah, blah section. The liability for damage is as high as $150,000 and blah, blah, blah.
What?
And basically just goes into the long list of like, I declare under consequence of perjury that the information in this letter is accurate and that I'm currently a legal copyright proprietor, blah, 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 blah. Basically threatening you with like huge fines, jail time, all this stuff if you don't take their image down. Which again, if you just set up your website, we always highly recommend, we'll go into websites on a different episode, but like use your own images when at all possible. Or if you do use stock images, make sure that they are free to use site or that you have paid the price to use it on your set website. So this one, even though, especially at that time, literally every single image that was on that website I took and it was on like in my studio, I was like, did I use a copyrighted image? Like maybe I did. I don't know. And you're like, no, this person has no idea. And then now I get them all the time from different people. It's some say from a company, some say not. Some of the formatting's different. And that's also kind of like a tell of, okay, if they're all saying this, to be fair, like to be sure I didn't copyright infringe on 30 people in one week.
Yeah. No. You definitely want to check. Yeah. And I have,
but it is super scary because you're like, jail time. I'm just, don't look at me. I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, you just reminded me of one, and unfortunately, I could not find the example of it. This was one that I was like, I reported it, I flagged it, then I deleted it, whatever, and then I couldn't find it again. But there's one similar-ish in terms of the threats and things like that. I got one where it basically said that they had my username and password to my website and that they had hacked my website, and
Oh no.
essentially what they were going to do was delete everything in it. And on top of that, they were going to email everybody that like ever used a credit card number or whatever on my site, which by the way, it doesn't use that. I use PayPal. So my
Yeah,
website
the
never sees
information is
credit card
not stored
numbers
on your
anyways.
website.
It's safe. Yeah. But it basically said that it was stored, blah, blah, blah,
Oh
and that it was going to
no.
delete everything on the website and that I needed to pay within 24 hours and not call the police or they would know.
Uh,
Like it was just this ridiculous thing.
like a hostage situation.
It was, yeah, it was
You have your
basically
website.
holding my website as hostage unless I had to pay like $2,400 like in British pounds or something. I mean, it was just like this thing out of this place. And
I feel like
ever
that's cheap
since,
price.
yeah, there's another
At least
new
that's more
one.
money. Come on.
Oh my gosh, there's another one floating around too where you have to pay in Bitcoin instead of a wire.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Or
oh
in
man.
cryptocurrency. Anyways, all that to
That
say,
one
you may
especially because it's
get,
not traceable.
I know. Well, all that to say, some of these scary ones, and we're gonna go into here in a second into like common trends to look out for. But if you get that, do not freak out. We're gonna talk about like some steps to take. Do not freak out. If it
Yeah.
sounds like it's fake, it very likely is. So
Right.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, Jackie, how about you kick us off? Let's talk about some red flags, some things to look out for where it's like, okay, if you see this, doesn't mean it is, but chances
Right.
are this thing is either a scam or a spam. But all
Right.
right, let's dive in.
And especially because some can be super tricky and like on that line. But the first super obvious one are multiple typos. I mean, I am definitely not the best speller in the world. I have some typos in messages, but if it's multiple typos or multiple grammar errors, it still could be a real person, but that's also a sure tell sign that it could be spam. So that's kind of like a mini flag that can go up. But then also, if you have the same exact text from different emails, let's say a few weeks apart, saying they're from different countries, different states, then you're like, okay, now I know that past one was definitely a spam because I just got literally the exact same message again. That's like an obvious sign. They're copying and pasting from the same spam document wherever they spam people keep their documents.
Yeah, wherever they keep their templates, because some of them, when you
Yeah.
were reading the
Spam
anniversary
template.
one, I was looking at the same time at the one I got, and it was almost word for word, almost
That's
the
so
same
crazy.
typos, same grammatical errors, also the spacing. Like, I don't know, it's weird. But anyways,
Yeah, they like indented paragraphs are
but
weird. They're
very
just like stop.
strange. Yeah, yeah, and it's also the kind of thing I'm like, okay, say English is their second language. I think just about everybody in the world probably knows about Google Translate, and it
Right.
does a pretty good job of translating things correctly and capitalizing and things. Anyways, you're gonna notice, you're gonna see once you get a few of these, you'll get the hang for it.
Right.
Um, some of the red flags, it may sound impersonal, either the story or the way they address you. Some of them don't even use your name, or they do and misspell it. Or like the one I had where it says insert name here. They didn't even bother filling out. That was a lazy scammer right there.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't even,
definitely a sign. If they're like brackets of insert X information here,
yeah,
instant spam.
seriously. Yeah. Another one is like the domain may seem off. So it might be like, say, Mark or Michael or whoever
Yeah.
at, and then it has like this strange website string looking thing, like with a bunch of
Yeah.
numbers and letters that makes no sense.
That's
Not
a good
even
one.
at Gmail. It's literally like this random thing. It might even be like, the website they're saying they're coming from. Anyways, yeah, if
Right.
you feel like the domain or where it comes from is like already really fishy, most people
Yeah.
that are going to be reaching out to you, even the legit ones, will have like at the company name or at Gmail or at Hotmail. Doesn't mean that's
Right.
not a scam or a spam though. So do be aware of that. But yeah, if you see it like this garbled thing after the at symbol, yeah, that should definitely be a flag.
Yeah, definitely a flag. Another one is what we touched on earlier is if there's an urgency for you to have to act. So, yes, in a very hypothetical, how I rationalize in my brain, if you're someone really is in a pinch and wants something for a deadline or an upcoming date, that is possible, but in all these spam emails, there's normally always an urgency of I need this immediately, or you have to act in like X time frame. And my mindset is, even if it is legit, then my mindset has always been a quote that I heard where it's basically someone else's lack of planning does not need to become your emergency. Where it's, and that applies in so many situations, but especially in this, where it's like, okay, if it truly is someone's anniversary, then like, great, they might just get their painting a week late and it'll be fine. Like, and you're not gonna die. It'll be okay. So
go to the convenience store, get something quick.
Right. Because spammers instantly do that to frazzle you, to make you not ask other people, not ask questions, and like have that supply demand. Okay, you need to do this now, or else it's a missed opportunity. Which also in that they normally keep their requests relatively vague. So even in your one email where it said on your artwork posted or listed on the website that you posted about or something, they didn't even specify your website smartly, because like, what if you're an artist who doesn't have a website? Maybe it's listed on a gallery that you're in for an exhibition, and that's where they found your name. So you could basically rationalize it no matter what. If you're anywhere online rather than your website or this website, they keep it super vague, so that they can easily apply it and copy and paste it to multiple people.
Oh yeah. Another red flag. They're going to ask for a cashier's check.
Yeah.
They may ask for bank information or try to wire. And look, this is like the other kind of hard thing about it. So in some other countries, that is how they send money to each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. They may use something like Stripe. So instead of you paying PayPal fees, you will wire to each other. And that's not uncommon. But generally, they're going to ask for a method of payment that you don't have on your website. So I get a lot the, can I pay with a check? And it's like, no, I have no way of accepting a check. Use my website. Even if you don't have a credit card, you can still use PayPal. Like, I'm like, no, you have other options. But you'll get some of those. And another thing to watch out for is if you want to play with the scammers, please don't. But if you do, you can go back. And this is another way to know a red flag, right? When they're like asking, oh, can I pay with check? You might say, I did this jokingly to one. I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I know this is not real. And I quoted them. I said, well, if you pay with card, it's the amount listed on the website. If you pay with check, and I said like some ridiculous, like
$6,000 upcharge.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And I'm like, I literally just told you you pay by check. I'm going to like charge you 10 times as much because this is obviously fake. And they were like, oh yeah, that seems reasonable. And it's like,
does it though?
It may be a scam if, and like, of course, be very careful with those, because then what they'll end up doing is they'll send you a fake check, like a fraudulent check. And then when you get it, they'll be like, oh, by the way, I sent you too much money. How dare you charge me extra? Can you send me a check for the difference? So
and then they have your bank account information.
They have your bank account info, your bank, it might take a few days to clear, and you've already sent them the artwork. You may have already sent them a check back. Just down. If you see check, just be like, nope.
Yeah, checks are really tough. My rule of thumb has always been like, I don't accept check unless I like personally know the person.
Exactly.
Even if they visit the studio in person, my thought is, okay, you can pay by check, but you don't get to take the artwork until I submit the check to the bank and it clears. Because again, you can write a check and then it bounces, but they just left with your painting and all the contact information they gave was wrong. So like, until they fully pay for their piece, I'm like, it'll be on reserve in the studio. You can come look at it, but until the check clears, then you're not getting it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like case by case basis and more of an in-person situation. If you know the person or, you see them in person. And also like if that check if there's anything off about it, just anything at all, even before you mobile deposit, just go to a branch and ask them to check it. because it might not even be the name of the person that's trying to buy the painting
Ooh,
from you.
yeah.
It might be from a company that you don't even recognize or from out of state.
Yeah.
Like if there's anything about it at all, call your bank and be like, hey, I got to check. Can you check it before we even deposit it? Can you make sure this thing's legit? Anyways.
Or when in doubt, like you said, you can also just say no. Be like, sorry, I only accept payments through my website, through these guaranteed
PayPal. Yeah.
PayPal, like all these. That's the huge benefit of many benefits of being able to have an online shop or accept payments online, is that you know everything's secure. You know you don't have to be that middleman and make those judgment calls. And if they truly want the painting, then they'll figure out a way. Yeah, and it'll be fine. If not, it's not meant to be, because they're probably a scam artist.
Yeah, pretty much. A few other red flags to be on the lookout for. There might be unsolicited attachments, like the one you got, Jackie, where it said, look here for the proof that you've, infringed on my copyrights.
Yeah. It's like a 5-line link.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they attach anything, any images, whatever, and again, this is someone you don't know, don't click it. Sometimes they'll code the whole email as a link. So be very, very careful. Don't click on anything. Sometimes literally it looks like a regular email, but the whole thing is a hyperlink. So if you link it, it'll take you to some kind of spam website where it tries to collect your information, or it might ask you for money, or it might say your computer has a virus, pay here to remove it. Like, just don't. Like, if you don't recognize it and it has some of those flags we've been talking about, or the examples we gave you, just don't click anything on it. There is an option, right, on most email providers like Gmail, where you can flag it as spam and send it to them, and they have a department that tries to track all that stuff. So you can flag it and then flag it first and then delete that puppy. Don't click anything inside of it. Oh my gosh, yeah. Also, like, if you get a fishy feeling about it, like, it's not just the grammar, it's just like kind of like the way they're asking. Maybe it's kind of, I don't know, kind of icky. There's something about it that just feels off. It probably is either a scam or spam. Also,
as flattering as they may be.
Yeah, and they'll try. I don't know. There's this, I don't know, side conversation, but I'm like, I got this tea towel that says flattery will get you everywhere. It's hilarious. It's tongue in cheek. Not when it comes to giving your artwork to someone that is not going to pay you for it, or worse,
they're going to
steal money from it, and or steal your information and then like hack your website. It's just not worth it. Flattery will not get you anywhere.
But they said I'm talented.
I know, and they said they're very impressed and intrigued.
I only say that because, again, I am a total sucker for it, and I'm just like, they like me. They really like me.
They'll find other words too. Let's be real. Another flag is if that buyer is from a foreign country. Look, there's nothing wrong. It's really cool to have someone interested in you that's from another country, but a lot of times they'll say things like, oh, because I'm moving to this other country, so I'm going to have to send it to you as a check or cashier or money order or whatever, because I'm in the middle of moving. No, if you really were, you would move to your new place, get settled, and then find the art, not try to do it in transit. Anyway, so just because they're from an international location does not mean they're not legit, but definitely be very careful if they're asking you to ship to another country, or you might be shipping in the States, for those of you that are listening in the States, but the person themselves is located in another country. It's like, but why wouldn't I send it to where you are? Wait, what? Anyways, so that, or they start talking about using an outside shipper. Like, no, don't use USPS or FedEx or UPS or DHL. I want to use this random. I'm going to use this random obscure company you've never heard of that you Google and you can't even find any information on. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, the list goes on and on. Those are just some of the very basics on. I mean, the key takeaway is like, look, if you get an email from a potential buyer and it checks one or more of these boxes, some of them will check all of these boxes, mind you, it's probably not a real client. You should not respond. If you do, actually just don't. Just don't respond. Just don't go forward with any kind of interaction or sales. Some of them will, if you do respond, will resort to more FOMO, fear of missing out tactics or scare tactics of like, put it this way, some of these emails are sent by a computer program, by a bot, and what they're looking for is to see who clicks on it, who responds to it, and then they'll actually have a person at that point. Like that becomes a real person that then is interacting with you. Yeah. And their whole thing is pressuring you into doing what they want. They're very good with the psychology side of things. Apparently they have scripts for everything. Their point is to steal from you, or that's in the case of the scams. They're trying to get money or information out of you, but usually ultimately they want money. Or in the case of the spam, they're wanting you to give them money in exchange of a service you didn't even ask them for. So just be very, very careful.
Yeah. And especially if you do receive any of these emails, especially the ones that might be more gray area, then my default is like, when in doubt, ask other people, especially other creatives, if they have similar websites to you. So if you're part of any online communities or even like connected to artists on Instagram, be like, hey, have you ever heard of this? And then they can be like, oh yeah, I get that all the time. And that instantly helps you make that decision. Should I respond? Should I not respond? So definitely let people know that you received it so that they can use their experience to help you.
Yeah. Well, and you're helping them in case they've never gotten it. They can be on the lookout too. Another one is definitely do your research. A lot of times you can take a big chunk of the body of that email, in case you didn't know you can do this. You can paste it into a Google search. You can literally take the wife's anniversary, blah, 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 copy, paste, and you'll see these blogs and things that come up of people saying they got exactly the same one. There's even a website during the research for this episode that I found. It's called stopartscams.blogspot.com.
Nice.
Yeah, the person that runs it actually has, people send I believe it's her. They send them the kind of emails that she gets, and it's basically like an archive of spam emails.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, you can definitely find them. Ask the right questions. If it really seems legit, maybe just ask a probing question or two. Again, if it has all the red flags, don't even engage, don't even try.
If there's a chance it could be real.
Yeah, if there's a chance that could be real, you could maybe have like a follow-up, like what specific artwork were you interested in? Or what I've done before is I'll say like, oh yeah, thank you for your interest. The list of my prices are listed on my website. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day. Bam. And just, so just try, if you're going to engage, which again, we don't recommend you do, but if it seems legit enough, you want to engage, just ask something very specific that someone that's trying to probably wouldn't know. Right. Like, yeah. Anyways,
it'll require a little bit of effort, and they'll be like, oh, this person's not worth it. And
exactly. Some of them they'll never respond again. Like, oh crap. Especially when you say no checks and the prices are listed on the website and you have to use the checkout. Bye. And definitely do not, once you realize it's a scam, don't keep going. Just don't let them escalate it into someone that's even better with their terror tactics. And do not give any personal information. Whatever info you have on your website should be sufficient to complete a sale. And to talk about your nothing personal, nothing about who you bank with, nothing, just cut them off. Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing too, is like, really don't click on any links that you feel unsure about, and really don't waste a lot of time on these emails, even if on the rare case it might be a real inquiry. Like, they will follow up, they will validate and show that they are a legit inquiry or collector. And really a way that I have found to avoid these situations and also minimize my doubt with this is really setting your website up correctly in a way, like you said, where all the information that they're asking for can be found on your website. You have a place online that you already know is secure, fully works, a place online where they can purchase artwork from you. So if you do think it might be real, like you just said, hey, thank you for reaching out to me. Everything that you are wondering about can be found at this website link. I look forward to seeing your purchase and shipping just in time for your wedding anniversary. Right?
Wink.
Right. And so and even for the copyright images, when you know, okay, your website was set up, you fully took all the pictures, it's all your work, you don't have a reason to have to worry. And so that helps minimize the stress of these situations, because when in doubt, you just want to make sure that you and your website are secure, your artwork is secure, and that real collectors have a place to purchase artwork from you online.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up for this episode. If you have any fun or interesting scam or spam emails, definitely feel free to share them with us. That would be really fun to kind of see if you're getting some of the same ones. But that is all for now. We really hope you enjoyed this episode.
As always, both of our blogs will be linked in the show notes, so you can find episode notes, notes about these spam emails, and links for all other podcast episodes.
Yeah, and if you want to stay connected with us in between episodes, share what you have learned, you can definitely follow us, both of us, on social media. I'm at May Art on all platforms.
And I'm at J Sanders Studio on all platforms. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good week.